Hi, this is Bill. Today I want to talk to you about a tool that's inside of the Smart Notebook software that can come in really handy for you if you want to use the Smart Notebook tools without having to actually open up Smart Notebook. What that is the floating toolbar. And so if you look over at the left-hand side of the screen, I have this little tab, and that's actually the floating toolbar. And by clicking on these grid of dots down here, I can move it back and forth. I can also pull it out and pull it to the other side of my screen if I want to have it on the right-hand side rather than left. Whatever your preference is, it doesn't really matter, but what's important is that these tools are part of the Smart Notebook software that you can use regardless of whether you have Smart Notebook open. So, for example, I'm on this Google homepage, and if I wanted to highlight Google or annotate this and really show as a part of my teaching that this is important, I can just click on the highlighter and highlight over Google. I could also grab a pen and draw an arrow towards it. So there's lots of different things that you can do basically because you're using those tools, but I don't have Smart Notebook open. What happens is, as you can see up in the right hand corner and all around the outside of the screen, it puts this transparency layer over my screen. And so what happens then is that I'm actually writing on that transparency layer, and as soon as I click the X, all of my annotations are done. And so that's temporary. But what you can also do using that transparency layer as well is you could copy that into Smart Notebook, or you could take a picture of that particular screen with your annotation. So this can come in really useful. But what I really want to talk to you about is not necessarily the transparency layer, but what you can do with this floating toolbar. So every time you click on most of these tools, you're going to get this little grid or gear that pops up to the outside. And what that is that's your settings for that specific tool. So for instance, this is my pen tool. If I click on that, I can change the color of the line, and I can change the thickness of the line very easily, save those tool properties, and then I have a big red line in order to mark up my page. So that's one way you can do it. The same thing can be done with the highlighter. You can change the color of your highlighting. So those are some ways that you can really customize that part of the tool, but those are individual tools. What's really nice is you can actually customize that toolbar as well. So looking at the toolbar, going down to the very bottom, there's another gear, and clicking on that gear is going to pull up the floating toolbar tools. So for instance, if I wanted to put the orient button onto my toolbar so that it's quick and easy for me to orient my board, I can just click and drag it over and put it wherever I want. By the same token, I can take and I can pull in the screen capture toolbar, and I can put that on there as well. So you can keep adding tools to that toolbar, kind of just as shortcuts. You can have multiple pen tools available for you. So the tools that you end up using the most, those are the ones that you want to have over there. What else is cool about this is you can add additional columns. So you can organize your tools based on tool type. So if I want all my pens in one column, I can do that. And then I can continue to add those columns really to just meet the needs that I have in my instruction at the time that I'm doing this. If I get it here and I have all this customization done, I think, you know what, no, I just want to go back to the beginning. I also have a Restore Defaults button that basically resets that toolbar. Clicking Done takes you right back into that. Your toolbar is always going to be available as long as Smart Notebook is running. And it should be available even if Smart Notebook is not running. Now, if you don't have this tab over here, but you do have Smart Notebook installed on your computer, go down into your taskbar and look for this little blue icon with the white circle on it. This is your Smartboard controls. And clicking on that, you can go up and you're going to see it's either going to say Hide Floating Tools or Show Floating Tools. Hide Floating Tools hides that toolbar. Show Floating Tools brings that back up. And so you really have the ability to customize that toolbar as well as determine whether or not it shows up when you're using your computer outside of Smart Notebook. It can come in really handy. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, please let me know.